All right, friends, good morning. So it is bright and early on Monday morning, and due to some weather, our morning plans have been changed, and I'm going to be here doing a little bit of planning, which is great because we were gone last week, and it's the first of the month. So that means it's a little bit hectic from a business standpoint. So I thought I would do a quick catch up on where things are for Ink and Agenda as a whole as we move into August, and then the final push for 2026, and then talk a little bit about 2027, and then do what worked, what didn't work for July, set up August, and talk about a few things. So let's get into it. So first things first, Ink and Agenda got a little bit of a brand makeover, and it's one of those things where I have been struggling with the direction of Ink and Agenda because it's such a personal project for me. And it's one of those things, like, there's always these questions when you start to work with a business coach or do anything where you build a brand, and they're like, what would you do if money wasn't an object or anything like that? And Ink and Agenda is definitely that project for me. I absolutely love it. And my business coach was like, listen, let's shift how we're doing some things, and we're going to start adding in like more tutorials and really try and help people start to cultivate a planning routine or a system. Because what I'm finding is a lot of people are very overwhelmed, especially if they're new to planning, and hopefully this will take out a bit of the overwhelm. So we did an overhaul to the website. I'm doing a brand new getting started bundle. And then after the getting started bundle, I'm in the process of writing an ebook. So while we were away last week and we had 3 days of rain, thank goodness for Starlink, I was able to write a book. So I have that kind of in the works. I have to do a lot of editing, proofing, and then build out the chapters and the design. But I think as of right now, it's like 8 subsections that we are working through. So I'm very excited to bring that to the table. And then something that we're shifting is going to be Happy Mail. So Happy Mail is going to take a little bit of a hiatus until I can get these other projects done. But I do have a question within that. So for August, I had really wanted to create like a junk journal kit of some sort, whether this is where I'm perplexed and I would love insight. So I know that there's a bunch of other planner businesses who make these gorgeous themed kits every month, and I love that. But I also love the functionality of it, and let's be honest, sometimes not every kit is our flavor. And I'm not sure if I should continue down the creative path of making the kits and getting them all prepped and ready to go, because I probably realistically invested about 10 to 15 hours from concept to rendering out the art, prepping it, and doing test prints. And I just don't know. I don't know if this is something of interest, and I would love to know. So if you're not too busy, can you leave a palm tree as an emoji comment and let me know if themed kits would be something of interest? So this is a dashboard that I came up with, and the themed kit is really drawing inspiration from when I lived in South Florida, and I thought it'd be fun to do like a summer resort kind of kit, a social club, if you will. And these are just pieces of ephemera. I printed some of these on cardstock. This is on cardstock. And then other things like digital washi, stickers. And I started to deconstruct this yesterday and use it for my own personal junk journal that I am working on. So something new for me is to do a little bit more creative and playful journaling rather than just the whole typical Dear Diary. This is a piece of 8.5 by 11 digital wallpaper. Nope, that's not right either. Just digital paper, digital seamless paper that I started to use. And then kind of like the concept here is like you're sending snail mail and stationery. So there are other pieces that I have already tipped into my journal, which I don't have here, But I don't know. Let me know if that's something, because I really enjoy the creative process of bringing these kits to life. And I have a very, very, very long list of theme ideas. So if that's of interest, I would love to know. I just don't know if, like I said, I don't know if there's interest in it, and if it splits kind of the, I don't want to say splits the market, because it's not fair, because I don't want this to be like, oh, I'm only doing this for the money, and of course now we're going to add theme kits. Like, this is more of really just a creative passion of mine, and I don't know if that just makes things messy. I guess let's just say that. So anyway, let me get back to the actual planning, and then we can get into August. So some things I started to do while we were away was make an August list of things that I needed to print or I need to work on. And there's a lot of things I want to change in our home, and especially where I do the filming of these videos, because now I'm using studio lights, because in my past life I was a photographer and I still have studio lights. So why wasn't I using the studio lights? That makes no sense. So that's what we're doing today. So we're in a different location in our house, in my old studio, and I'm using the studio lights. And then we have the little field notes book in the front. This is what I'm using for personal curriculum. And I have to be honest, I am failing miserably at the personal curriculum. And I need to get a grasp on this for the rest of the year. And then we just go into some inserts. Guys, I'm still on the struggle bus with this inbox. I have no idea what in the heck to do with it. Trigger list. FYI, if you did sign up for the Ink and Agenda newsletter, and even if you were to sign up probably through like the end of the week, the trigger lists are still available in the Happy Mail freebies. So that is something that's available. It's soon going to not be available. And then this is the commonplace section. So we were up in the Finger Lakes, and what I did is I always like to do a camper restock as we pack up and then reset for the next trip. I like to do like a little bit of a restock list, and then in here I started to cross out things that we didn't do. Weather was horrendous. Apparently there was this thing called an upslope. So on our radar, and all of the things that we were looking at for weather had literally no rain on the radar, but we were in this upslope, so it just kept like going up, looping, and raining and raining and raining. It was atrocious. But we still got out and did the best we could. We played phase 10. And then this is just like my little commonplace section of a whole bunch of things. I don't know if there's anything fun in here that I've added. No. So all of this kind of needs that mid to end of summer refresh between now and fall. And then here is my reading section, which I really love. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't really need this section in here, but I really do love it. So I've gone through and I have series trackers. And then what I need to do this week is update this with books that I've recently read that I might not read the whole series, or the series isn't one that I really want to track. And then this is the health and wellness section, which is bleak at the moment, which I need to go through and print out new menus. So let me grab this and put weekly menu, because I do like to keep the weekly menu in here. And then we get into an Ink and Agenda section, which probably needs an overhaul as well. And then I do have the Q3 insert that I need to sit down and fill out, because I did look at this. You know what? That's the wrong one. That one is for a different project. Let me see. Here it is. Yep. So let's do a little recap here. So I did not add 30 products to the Ink and Agenda shop, did not look for holiday trends, and did not prep any fall designs. So I'm kind of going to take a summer sabbatical from social media for the month of August. So I haven't really been on Instagram. I've deleted it from my phone and I'm only accessing it through my laptop or my desktop. And I have 2 things I'm considering launching. So I need to work on the August plans. All right, let's get into July. So I fell off on the July tracking. So that's something that I'm really trying to take stock and inventory of as we kind of go through planning on a weekly basis, is really looking at like, what am I doing and what am I not doing and why am I not doing it? And this could just be literally where it's placed, and maybe the tracker needs to move, as well as I was using highlights as a gratitude section. And this might just change because of how I am using my personal journal and junk journaling. So that's something I want to take inventory of. This is a flip of how July looked. So some big accomplishments. I relaunched my photography business. So I'll be focusing on animal, pet, and dog portraiture. And then Ink and Agenda got a makeover. So that was pretty exciting. We did 2 trips. And I'm also finding that when we travel, let me backtrack here. So this is the original daily page that I have, and I think I put it in the shop, and if I didn't, I gladly will. So what this really has is a spot up here where you could real talk, wanted to quit everything today. Yeah, sometimes that happens. So I go ahead and put anything that's important up here, the daily schedule, to-do list, and then I have a blank section. Then I gave this a little bit of a makeover in hopes of a little bit more focus on health and wellness. So top priorities, the daily schedule. I'm finding that I don't need a full daily schedule. My days are pretty much the same. It's very much Groundhog Day around here, but I do like to have a little bit of a daily schedule. The movement and mood section. It's like movement, mood, and meals, and then top priorities for the day, a little running checklist, and then the meals, and then a spot if I want to make any type of notes. And then once we travel, I don't really follow through with the pages. So here is where we're at to kind of get us into August. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull all of these out. And I need to make a note of the habit tracker. And I feel like I did a themed habit tracker, so maybe I'll use that instead. And then what I will end up doing here is moving these out. And then this is August. So a little note about August is that I decided to just go back to the Carpe Diem inserts for the foreseeable future. In fact, they had a great sale. I think the packs of inserts were down to like $1.50. I bought 10 of them. My husband was like, so wait, you're intending to plan for the next 10 years? Yep, buddy, I am. So we have 10 years of planner inserts now ready to go. So we'll see how that works out. But I do like the inserts. The only thing I am not a fan of is they don't have a tab. So I do need to order mini tabs. Mini monthly tabs. So that's something I'm considering. And I'm thinking that I might do a top tab. I kind of like how that looks, and that would be a great division of the section for me. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll drop these in. So these are the weekly intention inserts. So I'll put the dates up here, the priorities for the week, and then on the back side, I get a little bit deeper into what the plans are for the week. And then I put in the dailies. I do like to have a blank one for Sunday. Was it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. My goal is to do like a weekend review. I think I designed it before we left and I just had not gotten around to putting it together. So now I think I'm out of the one-sided backs, which is fine. It's probably not fine. Off camera, I will probably fix this because it will annoy me. I already know that's how my brain is going to work with it, but for the sake of the video, I'm gonna go ahead and just put these together for the next few weeks. I know I need to print more inserts, so I will print and adjust accordingly. And then we have September and October, and I have not set these up yet. I will go ahead and do that probably off camera. I haven't really been using this section, which makes me think that possibly it needs an overhaul. Same thing with the spending section, and then I can't show you the Oakley section because we have personal information there. And then this is really the end of it. So I feel like the planner in a whole needs a massive makeover because a lot of it isn't really serving me as well as it could. So that's that. So that's where we're at for the end of July and the start of August. And like I said, I would love to know your thoughts on these design kits. If that's something that you would like me to continue to curate and build. Like I said, I really, really enjoy them. It's something that's really fun for me. It takes a considerable amount of time to go from concept to curating the art for it, prepping all of the art, and then exporting it for all the files and doing test prints and things like that. But if it's of interest, I'm definitely happy to continue creating them. I just don't know if it's too just disjointed from the brand. And I kind of don't want to worry about that because even if they didn't sell, they make me happy. So I have to lean into that kind of energy and the thought process behind it. But I don't know. So I am definitely open to your suggestions when it comes to the Happy Mail revamp, the kits, etc. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get into planning and I'll bring you along once it's done. All right, I thought I'd pop in real quick and talk about why I'm using pencil and kind of how my weeks go. So one of the things that you may or may not know is that I am a virtual studio manager for luxury photographers. So I do a lot of admin work behind the scenes. And one of the things that I do is a lot of album design, booking calls, and things like that. Here's what I find. 9 times out of 10, these things get rescheduled, they get pushed around. There's some things that I can't control based on when they're booked and lives. So what I had been doing was a lot of putting these calls in ink and again, lives. And what I was realizing, because I don't keep a lot of client focused content in my personal planner, but I do like to keep these calls, is that because they were shifting, I was constantly crossing things out or going ahead and just using whiteout. And now what I have decided, I am going to start doing all of these calls in pencil. It doesn't really matter to me, if pencil doesn't work for like ever. It's not like I need to like archive these daily pages for all to come and to refer back to. But I would much rather have these here in pencil so I can go ahead and cross them out, because nothing irritates me more than a canceled call and then it like lives on my calendar. It drives me batty. So I would rather have the power to just erase than to come back in and white out. So it looks like tomorrow I'm going to be on the phone all day, or for a vast majority of the day. And then I do know that a top priority today is going to be an image call for a client. So I'm just going to put this up here, because I know there's a deadline there. So I have not even checked client emails at this point. It's not even 8. I won't log into the office until 10 today. That's when I start my office hours. So this will radically probably change, but I like having a little bit of context to how this looks for at least the start of the week. But I thought I would do a little audio and give you a little insight as to why you're seeing a mix of pencil and pen in here. I had a few weeks where calls were just being continually rescheduled. I was like, nope, that's it. And that's again why I don't like to put all of my business items into my personal planner for that reason. I don't like to mix the two worlds, because when I am done for the day, I want to be done. I don't want to come back in here and then see a whole bunch of, when I say I don't want to see a lot of work in my planner, I don't want to see a lot of my clients' work in my planner, if that makes sense. They all have sections in their own A5 planner that I refer to, and I did a video on that. But I don't need to see like the daily operational things unless it's something of a deadline in my personal calendar. So that's how I navigate the calendar. And I do need to add in here, I don't know what time we're doing this, but I'm just going to put it on here as well. And again, if it happens, I'll probably come back in, erase, and put it in with ink. Especially like this one. This is a photo shoot that I'm doing for a client, not for one of my clients. So it's an internal photo shoot. All right, friends, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here and kind of get the day started. I have a mountain of laundry to do and a few things I want to wrap up before we start the workday and do our August check-ins with clients and do all the admin things behind the scenes. So again, if there is interest in these themed, I guess, junk journal ephemera sticker kits, please let me know. I really love them personally, but again, I know that, everybody's taste is different. Everybody's planning style is different, whether you use them in your daily planning or if you use them in junk journaling or just journaling, or if you want to do pen pals. That is kind of the initial thought that I had, is that these would be really cool pen pal kits. And why I say that is because I actually created, there's more pieces to this that I haven't shown because they're already in my journal, but like it's a whole correspondence kit and things like that, which I thought could be like super fun to send out proper happy mail, because I don't have enough things on my to-do list that I thought, oh, let's add a whole new brand line or a new line to the brand as I get ready to go into the busiest season for all of my clients and then for myself as well. So anyway, leave me a comment or a palm tree if the themed kits are of interest, and I will figure out how to bring them to life in a more consistent manner, plus the 100 or so inserts that I have on my to-do list that I want to bring to Ink and Agenda, and then everything else that I'm trying to do in the back end with updating the Getting Started kit, writing the ebook, and everything else. So I look forward to talking to you guys soon, and I will try and do an update at the end of the week just so you can see kind of what happened, what got done, what didn't get done, and to hold me a little bit accountable. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.